in Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on ATP. In our last lesson, we were introduced to the subject of cellular respiration. We also discussed the need for fuel and energy within the cell. We learned about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Today, we are going to learn about ATP. We will describe the formation of ATP and also its importance in cell functioning. Are you ready to begin the lesson, students? Adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, is an essential molecule that provides the energy for all cellular functioning. The molecule's phosphate bonds store a great deal of energy, which can be saved until it is required by the cell. ATP is used and created during cellular respiration. The entire process yields approximately 36 molecules of ATP per molecule of glucose that is consumed. The energy stored in ATP's phosphate bonds acts like a battery. The bonds permit the cell to save energy and use energy in response to the changing metabolic demands. One of the main functions of ATP is to build up large molecules from smaller ones to make new cell material. This process is called anabolism. Cellular respiration is the biological process through which cells convert glucose into ATP, yielding the waste products of carbon dioxide and water. Part of the respiration occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell, while the majority of ATP is produced inside the mitochondria. Much of the energy released during respiration is used for building, like anabolism. But cells also break down large molecules into smaller molecules. This process is called catabolism. ATP from respiration is also used to make muscles contract. Even when the body is not moving, muscles are still working to make it function. The rib muscles and the diaphragm, which contract during respiration, as well as the beating of the heart, require the use of energy. ATP functions to control body temperature. Since humans are warm-blooded, our bodies are at the same temperature regardless if it is hot or cold around us. Energy is required to maintain the body warmth on cold days and to sweat and keep the body cool on hot days. ATP also provides energy for the active transport of certain materials across cell boundaries. Students, for our first activity, please match the term in the left-hand column with the most appropriate description in the right-hand column. You may begin.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, everyone. How was that activity? Let us go over the answers together. Anabolism is the process of building up small molecules to make large molecules. Cellular respiration is the process in which ATP is created, yielding waste products of carbon dioxide and water. Catabolism is the process of breaking down large molecules into small molecules. Mitochondria are the area where most ATP is produced. Phosphate bonds act as storage units for the molecule. ATP is energy that is used and created during cellular respiration. If you answered them all correct, great work. In the first stage of cellular respiration, ATP is used to provide energy for the first stage of respiration called glycolysis, which takes place outside of the cell's mitochondria. For each molecule of glucose, 2 molecules of ATP are required to initiate the reaction. ATP is produced in the following stages of respiration. 4 molecules of ATP are created in the final steps of glycolysis. The second stage of respiration is called the citric acid or Krebs cycle. This takes place inside the mitochondria. It is this process that creates the carbon dioxide breathed out by living organisms. The majority of ATP production occurs in the membrane of the mitochondria, where the electron transport chain that uses hydrogen ions to join ADP and phosphate groups, which results in the creation of ATP. Let us do one last activity before we conclude our lesson for today. Students, please describe at least 2 functions of ATP. Please go ahead and I will see you in a few minutes.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
It is nice to have you back, students. There are a few functions that you could have described. You could have said that ATP is used when the cell builds up new cell material, or perhaps when the cell breaks down large molecules into smaller molecules. You could have also said that ATP is used for muscle contractions or to control body temperature. Please have teacher review your answers at the end of this lesson. We have reached the end of our studies for today. In this lesson, we learned about the formation and the importance of ATP. Until next lesson, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.